Cheers. Toast the crime.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How's life? How's everything? I want to make this episode pretty quick and down to the point because it's not about me today. It's actually about someone who's coming on to definitely drop some of the dopest knowledge, dopest game I can honestly say I've ever gotten in my life, because the point that where I am financially in my life, well, this person has a heavy hand to deal with it. I feel like a lot of times when we grow up, our parents give us a lot of financial guidance. They give us a lot of everything that they can teach us about money. And sometimes we listen, sometimes we don't. But in essence, they can only get us so far. And like once you hit that plateau, that don't mean that you reach where you should be. That means that, well, it's a higher level you should get to, and you got to learn that. If no one's around to teach you this, you're probably going to definitely ignore it. And I'm gonna probably say that the whole endurance of your life, you'll probably do things that you probably didn't even rate. I.e., in this particular one, we're talking about taxes. Man, this dude coming in, I can honestly say, is one of the most knowledgeable people I've talked to. I'm gonna say honestly, in my life, when it comes to taxes. Me growing up in the hood, I didn't know much about taxes, and I can honestly say a lot of my friends didn't know much about taxes. So it's only so much we could teach each other about it. But this particular guy has went far and beyond, and he's been in my life probably, I'm thinking 16 years or so, doing my taxes so much. He did my taxes so much that we actually became what we call family. Now, the crazy part about this is me and this guy never met. We never even shook hands. We never done nothing in the physical form, but you couldn't tell us that. Man, you can, boy, I wish someone would talk crazy about him. You know, it's that type of relationship. So I've talked enough about him, but I do want to say his name is Robert Barnes. And the purpose of him being in today is to come in and drop any type of knowledge that if you've ever talked to me and I've tried to tell you about your taxes and how you should be living and how you should be structured as a business, it wasn't just some gibberish I learned. It was because this guy actually schooled and mentored me. So with that being said, I definitely want to bring him on. And again, Robert, I hope you can hear me. How goes it, bro? How's things?
Things are great, man. Things are great. I'm talking to you live from Angeles City in the Philippines. About exactly 1 hour before my golf tee time. so we're gonna share what we can until I gotta head out to get in the car. And I guess the way this works, I probably can talk to you in the car. But
yeah, you can. I mean, however it worked to get your knowledge across.
Yeah. But thanks for giving me an opportunity, man, to just talk to you and your listeners and hopefully share some knowledge that I have gained over the past 40 years or so. Mm-hmm. I am a tax consultant. So I want to be clear on a couple of things with that when I talk to folks. I'm a tax consultant, self-taught, but my curiosity about why we pay taxes, or me specifically, led me to dig into the tax code and dig into the tax situations of many people, and especially focusing on veterans, on those of us who served. I am an Air Force vet, 22 years in the Air Force.
Right.
I retired at 39 years old in 2000. So I've been retired for 25 years. I'm 63 now. I have 4 lovely daughters. I've worked in civil service, I've taught college at several universities: Hawaii Pacific University, Central Texas College, University of Phoenix. I've taught online. I've taught in the classroom at Schofield Barracks, and
Now, when you say talk,
basically on campus in Hawaii. And I say all of that to tell you that I have a lot of book knowledge. I have a master's degree in human resources, a bachelor's degree in business. I'm currently working on my doctorate degree at North Central University. And the second thing is I'm retired. I'm
right?
living in the Philippines, and I play golf and work on my computer, and I do the tax thing. I have a solid word of mouth client base, so I am not advertising looking for business.
Right. Yeah, we know you don't
You
want to
know,
work. You don't want to work.
I would love to help as many folks as I possibly can, but again, I am not looking for business, and it's really a difficult. It's a challenge because I live in the Philippines, and I can complete folks' taxes, but I'm not a bill collector, so I have no way of running somebody down if they don't pay me or whatever. So I try to keep my clientele to basically word of mouth.
Right. I
Ty
agree.
has referred a number of his friends and family to me over the years, and you know, I take care of those folks, and some of them are lifetime customers, and some of them aren't. But it
Now,
works.
let me ask you this, because that's some things that I want to ask you. So, as young people, or whatever, how should people really be living? Should they be structured as civilians, or should they be structured under some type of business to help them get through?
Okay, you should be living your life, right?
Right.
And by by living your life, you want to try to turn as many of your personal expenses into business expenses, which allow you to use the business expenses to lower your tax liability. Now, how
Understood.
do you do that? What the first thing you need to understand is, when do I open a business? How do I open a business? You
Right.
know, what do I need to be a business, and so I can have tax write-offs and all that good stuff? Do I need to open up an LLC? Do I need to get a building and get employees? Do I need to get a EIN number, a 9-digit number, and all of that? The answer to that, absolutely not. All you need to have a business is the mindset that you are you have a profit motive. Now, let me give you the easiest business in the world that everybody should have and can use as a business to lower your tax bill.
Okay.
You're doing it right now. Ty has a business as a content creator, and based on criteria with the different social media platforms, you get a certain amount of views, you become eligible to be monetized. Once you get monetized, of course, you start getting checks from those platforms, and there are people who are making millions just posting content.
Right.
And so by posting the content and getting paid, that's a business. And if they're posting content, they have to, they are going to have expenses. And those expenses, like the cars, like the travel and so forth, they can use those expenses to greatly reduce their taxes. Right?
Yeah. So I'm definitely always trying to tell people that it's like, hey man, that most of the stuff that we was taught we should be paying for, there's ways to live through the system, and we're not doing anything wrong because the million trillion billionaires are doing it. So you're just following their guidance.
Okay, Ty, in order to really get people to understand, to break this down, like you said about when we are starting to learn about money, our parents tell us a lot of stuff. You got to save your money. You got to do this. Where to put money. Some parents get into buying real estate, opening up a business. You need to open up a business. You need to save your money. They tell you everything except the big thing.
Right.
And that's about taxes and what's going to happen when you make that money. The thing is when you make that money, Uncle Sam wants it.
He wants his cut.
He want his cut. And based on how much you make, he wants 10%, 20%. And then when you start making any type of money, it reaches 6 figures and you're single, he wants 30%.
Yeah.
30% is quite a bit of money. If you're making $100,000,
facts.
To imagine giving 30% to somebody just because you're working, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But the thing is we have a law and you have to pay taxes. All right. So let's be very, very, very clear. You gotta pay taxes.
Right. No way around that.
Yeah, that's the law. If you have a tax liability and you owe and it's determined that you have a liability, then you owe. You have to pay your taxes. Now, the key is, what's your liability? All right.
Right.
Taxes is about everybody should pay their fair share.
Right.
But is my fair share the same as Ty's fair share? Is Ty's fair share the same as LeBron James' fair share? Is Ty's wife, who's a doctor, fair share the same as Oprah Winfrey's fair share? Nice. So we need to determine that.
Right.
Now, I am willing to bet that Mrs. Cosby, I know exactly down to the penny how much she makes as a doctor. And I know what Oprah Winfrey's net worth is and what is posted as her net worth, which is a couple of $1 billion.
Right.
And I'm almost willing to bet that Mrs. Cosby paid more in taxes in 2024 than Oprah Winfrey.
I'm pretty sure of it too.
I am absolutely 100% positive that I've been doing their taxes for 15 years, and I am absolutely 110% positive that she has paid more taxes than Jeff Bezos, than Bill Gates, than Donald Trump.
Well,
right?
I've seen that money leave, so I do agree. I agree.
Now, the good thing about it is Miss Cosby has had a mindset where she's using the money as a savings account, because she's been set up with 15 years of tax avoidance lessons that basically the money that she's been paying and having withheld from her taxes, from her paycheck over the past 15 years, I've probably gotten back 90% or 95% of it. So that has worked out. I'm going to use the Cosbys as an example, because they've grown and they have, Mrs. Cosby is a doctor, and she has a great salary. Mr. Cosby is a bum, but like me, he's a retired bum, and he's getting military retirement pay, and he's getting the benefits that he's earned from the military, and those benefits are basically, the veterans benefits are tax free, but they make a lot of money. They make a lot of money, and their tax liability for this year, their tax liability is in the $50,000 range. It's a little less than 50 grand, but their tax liability is in the $50,000 range. Right. And so, Mrs. Cosby's income and the way she's been conditioned over the years, she has allowed them to take nearly what her tax liability is. So let's say that their tax liability is a little over, close to 50,000, and she has allowed them to take about, let's say, over 40,000. Yeah. Okay.
Big fact.
So to put that in perspective, Mrs. Cosby has, just from federal income taxes, not Georgia included, right? We didn't discuss the state taxes, but not Georgia included, folks. She's paying over $3,500 a month. $3,500 a month just for federal income taxes withheld. Not state, not Social Security, not Medicare. Those are not included. That's a lot of money.
So now, people in that particular case, then what should they be doing to make sure that they're not doing that? But I was just saying, like in her case, because I know she's not the only one. She tells me all the time. No. Sometimes she has friends that are paying a lot.
Well, again, Ty, the thing is, your goal is to make as much money as you possibly can, right?
Facts.
And the more money you make, the higher tax bracket you're in. So the goal is to keep as much of that money as you make. And the best way to do that is called tax avoidance. And again, if you have tax liability, you're gonna pay taxes. But there are certain things that you can do to avoid paying taxes.
Okay.
And help to reduce your tax liability.
Okay.
And those things are turning what possibly could be your personal expenses into business expenses. And again, if you know Tyron, he's a great cook. I have never in 15 years I've seen a lot of Facebook posts. Never had a chance to smell or touch any of that food, but I have seen it for years, and that's the first thing he's gonna do when I finally do meet him is cook a meal. But he has done some chefing. I remember back in the day, he cooked for the Atlanta Falcons for a while, and as part of his schooling, and he's traveled and been a sous chef for some folks, and all of that. I'm looking back and I'm doing his taxes in my head. Oh, I can write off his trip to Seattle. I can write off when he went down in Atlanta and helped out veterans and cooked for veterans and did that. Just recently, his son got married. Son had a big wedding, had a reception. Did he go to the wedding or did he go to cook? We can write all. There are just tons of things that you can do. He drives a big truck. He uses that truck to go shopping. He's always talking about, he's going, to go shopping and cooking this meal and doing that. Driving to Augusta, Savannah, and those type of things. Guess what? All those are business expenses. All those are business trips. Even though he's having fun doing it and that's what he do, he's a caterer. He's a caterer. And we get to write off those business expenses. So those things. He has a transportation company. He has a transportation company, and now he's a content creator. Lot of business things, right? So there's a lot of things that you can do to help reduce your tax liability. Now, I am not here to discredit, to disclaim, or speak bad on anyone, but let me tell you, if you are going to the local tax preparers that you generally use, you're wasting your money and you're basically getting ripped off. All right.
Okay, why so?
Instead of going into waiting line at H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt or any of those local tax preparation offices, if you have to go that route, if you're going that route, just go in the store and buy TurboTax. And I'm not advertising for those guys. I'm not telling you to go buy the TurboTax software, the H&R Block software, but I am telling you to not go into those offices and hand someone your documents to get tax preparation, expecting to get tax services. All you're getting is tax preparation. You're not getting tax advice. They know, in most cases, those folks know absolutely nothing about taxes except how to input the documents. Right. And so I can almost 100% guarantee that I just a couple of hours ago completed the Cosby's 2024 tax return. And what I basically do is I input the numbers, and I input the numbers into the computer program, and voila, that pops up. I do exactly what H&R Block or any of those tax preparation services would do, or you doing it yourself. Right. And when I put in the Cosby's numbers, they owed $4,224 or something to that effect. But they owed over $4,000. Now, remember that I told you earlier that Mrs. Cosby paid over 40,000, had over 40,000 withheld from her paycheck. And so when I input the numbers, guess what? She still owed $4,000, right? But at that point, I go to work. I look at the entire Cosby situation. They're homeowners. They have several businesses. Ty gets retirement, military retirement. Mrs. Cosby works a job, a lucrative job, but she works a regular W-2 job, and their income is pretty decent. By writing off all of their business expenses, looking at the stuff that they do, I have evidence of all the stuff that they do. I follow Ty on the internet. If you've been listening, he's been pushing folks to get into the stock market game, and he's a consultant. That's another business, right? So you can find hundreds of posts of him dropping knowledge about about stocks, about whether you should buy this or hey guys, I woke up this morning and I made $1,500 or whatever, right? And he's dropping knowledge, which content creator, he's posting it. Consultant, he's dropping knowledge and people are coming to him for advice, and many folks are willing to pay him for that. You know, even though he's doing a lot of it, it started off as a hobby and something that and something that he had time to do and got into it. But his followers have increased enough to where he's getting phone calls or text messages saying, hey man, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And he's taking some time to do some research and saying, hey man, what Elon Musk did, Tesla's gonna go up, blah, 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 blah. And folks are coming back and saying, hey Ty, man, I'll pay you. I'm gonna pay you for that. And guess what? If they take him out to dinner, if they buy him a beer, that's a business transaction. That's a business transaction. And it's just life. So I don't want to ramble because there's so many ways to go.
Right.
But folks, please, if you going to H&R Block or to any of those tax services, you have people that set up businesses to do taxes every year, and they know nothing. Yeah. Except they have friends who are going to be clients, and they get the software and the capability to electronically file, right, which is free. IRS free. I mean, there's a TurboTax free file. There's tons of free file for people that makes under $75,000 or whatever. Right. So just paying someone to input your numbers and come up with your most, and naturally you're all out there trying to get that big refund. Those folks know absolutely 100% nothing what they're doing. And I'll give you an example. Young lady called me from somewhere in Georgia. Her name's Monet. I'll just leave it at that. But she called me and said, Mr. Barnes, one of my friends know you, and I just went to H&R Block and had my taxes done, and I don't think they did right. Because my friend told me that we probably should have got more, and I needed to call you. Now, taxes done, right? She's paid H&R Block couple $100. Taxes done. She's a young lady with one kid. She's a young lady with one child, and married. And their combined income is about $45,000, right? And she went to H&R Block, and they got a refund of $2,888, right? So she says, we got the refund, but my friend looked and said, that don't sound right. That don't sound right. So give Mr. Barnes a call. All right. So she calls me up. I don't know this lady from any of you, and never, her friend gave her my email and phone number, and I called her, and she told me the situation. And I said, you've already electronically filed, so I can amend the tax return.
Right.
Folks, she sent me the tax document, and it took me 2 minutes to see that all H&R Block did was input her numbers. The computer came back and said, refund $2,880. If they had been able to understand what they were doing and understand her situation, I dropped her tax liability based on the conversation we had. I dropped her tax liability. Probably all I needed to drop it was $1,500, but I was able to drop it maybe $15,000. But that $1,500 upped her tax return to almost $9,000. Why? Because she was just above the threshold to get the earned income credit, and just above the threshold to maximize the child tax credit. By maximizing a couple of things, reducing her tax liability, her earned income credit that H&R Block didn't get her back was $4,213. The child tax credit was $2,000. There's $6,000 right there, right? So you multiply Monet by 15, 20 million, and how much money have they getting away with, folks? Or those, when you go to a tax preparer, all they're doing is preparing your taxes. They're not fixing your tax situation. You have to, you're going to it's kind of funny to me that you're going to a tax preparation service, paying them to complete your tax return, and they tell you, if you don't want information on how to reduce your taxes, seek a tax professional. so that's kind of crazy to me, right? So I promise you that you cannot learn taxes by attending a 6-week course. And the employees at H&R Block, again, God bless them, but they know absolutely nothing about taxes, and they're preparing a lot of tax returns, and a lot of people are not benefiting from the whole thing. So we need to you need to seek some tax professional advice and lower your tax liability and maximize your refund. To be honest with you, folks, 90% of the people who are going to listen to this shouldn't be paying any taxes. You shouldn't be, your tax liability is basically zero. You shouldn't be, you can practice tax avoidance, and you should be getting all of your money. And there's a big misconception. People are jumping up and down. I just told Mr. Cosby and Mrs. Cosby that they have this relatively decent refund coming, and they're happy about it. Of course they can use the money, but I said, it's a damn shame that you're getting excited about somebody giving you your own money back. So you've had, I time to time, me and Ty have a relationship where, I live in the Philippines, he lives in Georgia, and he's doing his thing, and I'm out here, and basically, he'll just drop a line and say, bro, what's up? I haven't heard from you or whatever, and I'm good. Unfortunately, the last year and a half or so, I had a struggle with diabetes and disappeared, right? And had some medical issues, and I sort of dropped off the grid. And Ty would look and say, hey, where you at? Well, I haven't heard from you. Taking your medicine. And that's the type of relationship that we have. But what's important, the most important thing that we have is, again, I have never so much as touched Ty's finger. This is the extent of our face-to-face. We have never breathed the same air, but I know where every penny of his income is. So I know more about his income than he knows about his income. And that's the trust. That's the trust that we've built. In order to maximize your financial life, you have to get a more than basic knowledge of the tax system, right? And you have to be like Ty Cosby. To be honest with you, he seeks the knowledge, and then he implements it, right? So that's just like if you're a football player or basketball player or whatever, you can have all the talent in the world and get on the field, and if you don't have the strategy set up to work that talent, you're gonna get your butt kicked, right? You're gonna get your butt kicked, right? So Ty built a life with a successful woman. He had a successful military career, and he knew that they were making money and headed in the right direction. And he just would call and say, hey, Rob, what do you think about this? I'm going to go to school to cook. What do you think about this? I'm going to buy, we're thinking about buying this house. How is this going to implement? We're thinking about moving here. Now we have 2 houses. How should we do that? What should we do with that? I give him the knowledge on how it's going to affect him financially. And then he goes in the game and hit the 3-point shot. That's it. You know, he goes in the game and that's where he is. So you've got to be willing to learn that, to get the information and go out there and learn. Bottom line is, you don't want a refund, folks. Okay. The goal of us recording our taxes and all that good stuff, at the end of the year, we want a handshake agreement. Hey, guess what? You don't owe me nothing. I don't owe you nothing. God bless you. We all good Americans. I'll see you next year.
Right.
That's the whole goal.
Right.
But every April 16th, a statute of limitations, the IRS has a statute of limitations on how far back they can go. You can go to get a refund, and that statute of limitations is 3 years.
Okay.
Every April 16th, which is the filing deadline is the 15th. So April 16th, if people haven't filed their taxes, like, so for this year, if you haven't filed taxes for 2021, right?
Right.
April 16th of 2025, that's the 3-year statute of limitations for getting a refund, right? So if you paid in money and didn't file for some reason or didn't file correctly, guess what?
You just gave that money away.
They keep it.
Yeah.
That goes to the Treasury Department. Every year, they get to keep over $1 billion in unclaimed tax refunds. You guys are helping out the richest country in the world, loaning them money tax-free, and you have to find a way to do that.
Yeah, understood.
Ty,
I was going to say, Rob, I know it's golf time, man. I know.
Yes. It's very close to golf time. I would love to come back and get specific. I'd like to talk to the veterans about specific things that veterans should do. I know that you are a big proponent of getting folks to go get those veterans benefits. And I would like to talk to folks about, oh God, there's so many benefits of being a 100% disabled veteran, and the things that you can do money-wise is just ridiculous.
I gotta get to that. Yeah, I got. And
the fact that you are a veteran, and like Ty is 100% disabled veteran. I'm 100% disabled veteran. But the difference is, and for you to see the difference in the perspectives and just claiming, I was an Air Force veteran. I'm an Air Force veteran. I spent 22 years in the Air Force, and my most difficult deployment was to Waikiki, Honolulu, Hawaii. I was in Hawaii doing the Gulf War and all that good stuff. But hey, that's where they put me. Ty went to Afghanistan and did all of that stuff as a Marine, and proud of him. But
Same benefits, though.
I was sitting in Hawaii making sure that the airplanes dropped those guys off safely. Right. So, but I still got disabilities doing my services. So my office job, the things that I did in the military caused disabilities, and those disabilities I claimed them after I retired, and took a few years, but we got to 100%. What's the difference? 100% disability is right now over for a single person, no kids, 100% disability, over $4,000 a month, tax free.
Yes, sir.
So if you throw a couple of $100 per kid on there, and with a spouse, you're getting close to $5,000 a month, tax free, free education. There's just so much money available to veterans, and the sad part is you've earned it.
Right.
It's like you're not applying to show that you went to war and you got it's traumatic. You got PTSD behind that. All you need to do is report it and go pick up your check. Right. Right. So there's just a lot of things. There's a lot of money out there, and you can get it. Okay, Ty, man.
And Rob, I'll
again, bro, I appreciate it. Make sure to have Mrs. Cosby write my check. And but you guys enjoy your day, and thanks again, man, for having me. All right.
All right, Rob. I love you, man. Take care, bro.
All right. Take care, bro.
All right. Oh man. Like I said, that's Rob, man, and I don't know where the hell I'll be in my life right now without that dude. You understand? So a lot of the stuff that he's saying, it's not nothing that we can't do. We can all do it. I too used to think that there was some stuff I couldn't do and wasn't supposed to be doing when it came to taxes and deductibles. But Rob, he was the one that schooled me and got me out of that mindset. He was the one saying, hey, man, if you just want to keep giving Uncle Sam your money, then go ahead. He say, if you're going to give it to him, then give it to me. Why are you giving me a problem? And it wasn't to the end and talking to him that it made me start realizing what is the name of, what is the purpose of what we get back every year. It's called a tax return. A tax return. Therefore, they're returning my money. That would be equivalent to us loaning out our friends. We get them $20, $50, whatever. They come back and they give us, $40. We ready to kick their butt. We ready to just bust their head all open. But, when it comes to the IRS, we're cool with giving Uncle Sam $50 and then he returns us $10. So I'm kind of definitely with Rob. The goal is to not be paying taxes at all, because if million and trillionaires can bypass the tax system, then you can't even tell me that a guy who makes $40,000 a year can. It's physically impossible. You just got to get a little smarter. And that's the goal with everything, is to get smarter with your money. Financial literacy really starts at the smallest form. Saving $5 a month can get you in a better position next year than you are right now. So imagine if you're capable of saving more than $5 a month. Imagine if you're capable of saving more than $100 a month, $50 a month, $200 a month, whatever the case is. The goal is to make that money make money, not you make money. The goal is to make your money make money. All right. So that's me. That's Beer Talk with a Veteran, man. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. Robert, again, he's just someone I get to talk to on a regular. So I wanted him to be able to talk to you guys, and you get to hear some of the stuff that me and him talk about all the time, because our simple little conversations that we laugh about could be life-changing to somebody else. So again, it's Beer Talk with a Veteran, man. I love y'all. Simplify, rah, do or die. And y'all take care.
What up, baby? What up, baby? What up, baby?
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Certain morals we was built upon it. Some are living through them, some were killed upon it. Gonna deliver opinions how we feel in moments. Straight deliver the real with no filter on it. Breaking news, what's the breaking news? Had you wondering where he gon' take it to? Just getting some shit off of his chest. So welcome to Big Talk with a vet. The First Amendment is freedom of speech. We here to debate, we eager to teach. There's some misinformed people we eager to reach. And there's a bunch of information we need to see. The homie Tyran got the pot on lock. Lot of props, just the equivalent of the barbershop. Some topics light, some heavy, some life, some deadly, some right, some messy. But the homie speaking his truth, so just listen. And he ain't really giving a fuck about your opinion. The mission, open your ears, you can let him in. This Big Talk with a veteran.